Do it or ditch it time. This is where we take a look at something in the theme parks that might be worth a little bit of praise or a little bit of criticism. We tell you whether or not we would do it or we would ditch it. And this week, we are talking about Living with the Land at EPCOT. Living with the Land is an attraction that, by any regard, is probably more educational than it is entertainment, as you take a leisurely boat ride through essentially how vegetables grow, how how creatively plants can grow, and kind of how natural resources are being utilized in modern day technology and in modern day situations. It is an attraction that is absolutely a soothing one, and definitely a wonderful way to enjoy yourself some air conditioning inside the Land Pavilion at EPCOT. So we are here to talk to you about whether or not this is something we would do or we would ditch. This is also located in the same pavilion as Soarin', which most people run to in the morning at EPCOT just to enjoy their flight over such wonderful world destinations as CGI Taj Mahal. Who doesn't love that? But also, this is the place that has a quick service restaurant on the bottom floor, and then on the second floor has a rotating circular restaurant called the Garden Grill, where you can meet Mickey and the gang, and they bring food to your table. And then also there's Awesome Planet, a film featuring Ty Burrell. You might know him as Phil from Modern Family, talking to you about how awesome a planet can be. But today it's all about living with the land in this pavilion. We will start with Katrina. When it comes to living with the land, do it or ditch it?
Oh, man. When I first went on this ride, Tyler was like so excited. He's like, you got to go and live with the land. It's super great. It's great. And then when we sat there, the first, couple scenes, I'm kind of like, and then Tyler's like, super excited. And then I didn't really appreciate it when I first went on, because I saw it and I was like, oh, this is kind of cool. Okay, great. It's, there's like certain parts where it's like kind of boring, but then we would start going more. And then I actually really started to love it at that point, because it's always changing. And plus they have great cucumbers. Apparently people jump out of boats to go grab cucumbers.
It's true.
So that's really neat to know.
Which you should never
do. Not
do.
get out of the boat.
Yeah,
right.
Don't do it.
Don't get out of the boat. But it's just, everything's like super, I don't know. It's like interesting because like it's always changing. The fruits are always changing. The vegetables are always changing. I like how like there was like one time where they were putting a watermelon in this like plastic mold to make it grow like a Mickey Mouse.
Yeah, I love that.
And so
too.
that was really fun. And then you'd always have like, you see papyrus and you're like, I wonder what they use that for. And then you go on Spaceship Earth and then you learn about it. So it's great for children to learn stuff, to go to Disney World. And then like I really love, I even told my dad about it when they were showing how like zucchini was being grown, bell peppers, there's like tomatoes, how they have like a tomato tree, and then they grow it upwards, and then it just like falls down, so you can just like walk up underneath it and just start picking it. And I told my dad that because he has like a really great green thumb. He talks to his plants all the time. They grow beautiful, and like they love hearing his voice in the morning.
Does he sing to his plants?
No, he just talks to them.
Oh, well. Okay.
Yeah, and then he like touches them and goes, hi, how are you? Okay, great. It looks like you're very green. Like, good job. Oh no, you look sick. I'll give you some water. He's Italian, so he has an accent. So
thought it was Chef Boyardee or something. I didn't know who this was.
So he like, so I told my dad about it, and I was like, this is really neat to try. And he actually kind of was like curious to try and how to do it, because I think it's neat how they use that technology, and then they have the fish in the water, and the fish create like,
They call it hydroponics.
Yeah, and like,
yeah.
So I think it's just, I don't know. I started to learn to appreciate it. So all in all, I say do it.
Well,
you
that's
gotta
great.
do it. Yeah, I think it's great.
Well, now, and this is something that I think is a good test point, and that is how long would you wait for it? So it's a great ride, sure. It's a very leisurely thing that helps to educate and stimulate. But how long would you wait?
20 minutes.
Oh.
Yeah, I think I would wait 20 minutes for it. I mean, honestly, I would rather see. He's ready for it. Honestly, I would rather wait 20 minutes for that than 10 minutes for Soarin'.
Okay.
I hate Soarin'.
Wow.
I do not like it.
You usually don't hear that.
I would rather go to Living with the Land than Soarin'. If it was Soarin' over California, then we'll discuss later. But I think that I would wait 20 minutes for this ride compared to Soarin'.
Very good. And not worth wasting a fast pass on.
I think we used to use it for a fast pass.
We would use
because
fast
you
pass
would
on it.
Really?
because you could only. I mean, again, you could either choose one from the good lot, and then you get two from the okay lot, right? And so, I would rather use. I would use my fast pass on that.
Now, I do want to, I think, note here, I think it's worth noting that this typically, because it is a boat ride and it's a sort of high capacity because it's a boat, usually moves pretty quick. So you don't typically have to wait too long, which is good news. But Tyler, I mean, based on her story, it sounds like you are already Mr. Giddy when it comes to this ride. Tell us.
I say ditch it.
Oh,
No,
what a shock.
I lied.
No, I actually think it's one of my favorite rides at Epcot because it is so unique. Like, I feel like I've never been on a ride like it necessarily. And like I was saying a couple weeks ago about Navi River Journey, it really is like a palate cleanser. Like if you're having like a really kind of exhausting day, having so much fun, it's really nice to go in there, take a load off your feet, get some air conditioning. And especially at the end, there's like this wind tunnel that just like blows all this air at you. Like, and it's just so nice.
You get
it's
hungry
really,
from the food.
Yeah, it's really relaxing, and Katrina alluded to a lot of it. I just think it's cool that every time you go, they'll be growing something different, and I think that's neat. And there's like they'll like be growing like butter lettuce, and it's shaped like Mickey Mouse, or it's like they have this hose on the floor and they make it look like Mickey Mouse. I don't know. I know it's like simple things, but I always look at it and go,
oh, the prawns tank is shaped as Minnie Mouse. You're like, ooh,
yeah, exactly.
so great.
Yeah, and I miss like the little baby alligators that they used to have on that ride, but I understand why. Anyway, let's not talk about that. And you get to see all the different fish living their lives, the catfish, and you kind of briefly talked about it, but it's so cool at the end too when you see like the tilapia and the tilapia poop, and then the poop goes into the plants, and then the plants grow nice, and then we eat the plants. So we're really eating fish poop.
Circle of life.
Nothing like it.
Yeah. No, but it really is fun, and we haven't talked about kind of the first beginning scenes. But they are also just a ton of fun, and they're really simple and quiet, but it's just nice, like especially like the rainforest part where like there's like literally just water dripping down everywhere. If you've got your foot like kind of hanging out, because they have like the overhang above the boats, right? And if you've got your foot kind of hanging out or whatever, you're gonna get pretty wet. And I don't know, I just think it's just really fun. I don't know, it like you never would think that watching vegetables grow would be that interesting, but just the way they do everything, where they have like these conveyor belts that are like bringing plants that have no soil whatsoever through these like car washes basically, and they're growing beautifully. The only thing I wonder is they always say like, hey, we grow this stuff and then we bring it to restaurants around Disney World. I'm like, do you?
Is it really that fresh?
I don't think you can circle that much produce inside that little area.
That's what I'm saying, is I just feel like they could maybe
bananas.
They could maybe feed like one seeding, off of the vegetables they have there, and then they're like, well, now we got to wait a few more months, So I don't know. It's really cool though. Living with the land, definitely a do it. And you asked about the wait time. I think I would say I'm about the same, like I think 20 minutes or so. And the reason I say that though is because if you pick the right time of day, basically every time I've ever been to Epcot, like later in the day or so, you can just walk right onto that ride. So I wouldn't spend too much time waiting in line unless you really have nothing to do, but only for the fact that because the line will die down later and you can just come back and just walk right on it. But
it's a
great ride. Yeah. Fantastic. Love it.
They ride it 2 times a day when they do for Christmas version.
Oh yes.
Let's talk about that for a sec. That was always fun. Like we did our I think even the smallest little lights and stuff but it's so great to ride at night. Mm-hmm. It's like a different, you ride it in the day, you see other things, you ride at night, you see other things. And so that's when we'd use our fast passes usually, because sometimes it would be walk on. Mm-hmm. And so we would walk up and then we would use our fast pass, and then we would just keep checking every now and then. Or we would try to make our fast pass like for later in the day. And then so we would just like in the afternoon, we know there's gonna be a low point. And so we'd go in the afternoon, and then we'd have our fast pass for like later on in the evening, which is fun.
Perfect strategies, absolutely. And we did ask all of you via our Kingdom Report poll if you thought maybe living with the land was worth your vacation time. And you said when it comes to this attraction that 79% it's a must-do. And 21% of you said, no, not really. So almost 80% of you think that this attraction is a must-do during your Epcot day. That, again, I keep getting surprised by our polls and the sort of reaction that certain rides get over others. This being really an attraction with no action for the most part. I mean, there's very little in terms of like climax and action, and so it's not a wild story and stuff like that. It's very educational, it's fun, it's soothing. There's some cute minor audio animatronics in this attraction. But almost 80% of you said that it's a must-do. And let's jump out to Living with the Land at Epcot inside the Land Pavilion with our very own Garrett Hassel, here to tell us whether or not it's worth doing for him or maybe ditching.
Oh, it's absolutely worth doing. I adore Living with the Land. For me, it's educational and I find it fun. I know some people are like, man, look at all the trees and stuff. I'm like, that's cool. They show you how you do something with hydroponics and how it's sort of very similar to like a circle of life where it's like Tyler did, and we got fish. They poop, you eat the poop in pet form. I like it. I think it's fun. It's educational. Yes, it's a little dated, but every time I go on it, I always just have a smile. I think it's so cool. Plus, when you go from the different scenes and then finally you enter the greenhouse and you see all these different flora, fauna, plants, fruits, vegetables, it's so cool. You see banana trees. A lot of people don't even know what a banana tree is. Then probably my favorite little thing is you see all the plants and underneath they'll say like, oh, edible root, edible leaf, like for lily pads. That's cool. So if you ever got lost and you had to survive, you might know how to save yourself because of Living with the Land, an experience that I think everyone should go on.
Very true.
Plus, if you didn't know, they have a behind the scenes tour called Behind the Seeds. I've gotten to go on that, and that is also fun and educational. You learn how they actually do this stuff. You get to see the different spices they make, and they have this really cool bush that when you touch it, the leaf folds in, and if you shake the whole thing, it all sucked in. I don't know what kind
Are
of
we in
plant
Pandora? Like
really,
what's happening?
Really cool. But yeah, Living with the Land is awesome. Plus, they have Carolina Reapers in there that you can't go near unless you have protective eyewear and gloves on because it's got such a high, I guess, heat. I don't know what the measurement is, but
level.
It's so hot that it's going to cause some issues. So yeah, you got to wear protective eyewear and gloves. And they said that the chefs go back there, they will take a slice of that or even a hotter pepper that they have, and then they'll figure out how to put it into different dishes around the resort. Maybe Victoria Albert, since that's like a smaller venue and has limited seating, that's where they use all the stuff. But Living with the Land is awesome. It's only a 15-minute wait right now, so I'm getting giddy.
Oh, as you should. Giddy like Tyler.
Yes.
Yes.
And also just one last thing too. It's like it's such classic Epcot.
Mm-hmm.
Like it really is
Great
one
point.
of the final parts of like Epcot that is still like an original. Like there's Epcot is losing it's changing its identity. I don't want to say it's losing it, but it's changing its identity, and it's one of the things that still kind of has stayed the same and all these years later, and it's good to see. I like it.
You're right. It attaches back to old Epcot. Very good point. And so it sounds like do-it's all around. Very good to hear. And we always appreciate you bringing us the live action from Living with the Land. And at any point, we can be at Walt Disney World is fun. Yeah. Go get yourself on a boat.
Yeah. Next time, we'll retake this some other time, and I'll just do it from the actual ride.
Oh, that won't disturb anyone.
Just to show how
everybody
real
will
the
love
fruit is, and then I'll get back in the boat.
Perfect.
Like
Sounds good.
Yeah, please
do.
do.
But I'm gonna go learn about fruit and tilapia poop. So
please do.
Bye.
See you soon. Well, my friends, you let us know in the comment section. Did we miss the mark here? Is this a total ditch it type of attraction? Leave it in the comment section. Let us know what you think. Or if you must do it anytime you are at Epcot, we also want to hear that. And how long you are willing to wait for an attraction like this is also very important to us. So all things that we're looking forward to hearing your perspective on in the comments.
To all who come to this happy place, welcome.